Hello, welcome back to another Pen Talk. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for continuing to join me on my journey into this world of fountain pens that I seem to be enjoying and sharing. So those of you that have bought from some of the same places I bought from may recognize this leatherette style pen case. Bobby uses it for some of his higher end pens. It's nice to get a nice protective pen sleeve with your pen. Certainly nicer and more usable than just a pen box or pen coffin or a gift box that some other people may put their pens in. And here we see a pen which some of you who follow my channel will recognize from my mail day. It's a Lingmo Lorelei, and they call it a number 667. It's a unique design. It's the autumn finish. It also comes in clear, but I chose this because I like a splash of color with my pens. It is a piston filler, clear feed, nice two-tone nib, and the piston is engraved with the brand of the pen and a nice little logo there. And you just turn the knob and the piston goes down. A clear screw there for the piston. It comes back up again. You'll see later on when I take the pen apart that this is very easy to disassemble. Doesn't require any special attention to line everything up. Just put everything back together again and it all works fine. The cap comes off in about one turn, and they put in block threads here, and they also double threaded it. So there's two engagement points. There's one, and if we turn it around, we see that the nib is opposite the clip. So we'll undo it, and we'll go to the next engagement point, and now we'll see the nib is kind of aligned with the clip. I mean, it's not 100%, but this comes out, so if you were really anal about it, you could line up that nib to be lined up perfectly with the clip if you so desire. I mean, overall, the pen has a very good feel to it. It's not a heavy pen, considering it appears to have a decent amount of metal on it. You know, a standard clip, functional, does the job. So we're going to review this pen, take it apart, compare it to other pens, decide what ink to put in it, and see how this nib performs. It's a little different than any other Lingmo Lorelei nib that I've had. So the Lingmo Lorelei piston filler is autumn, and these are my 3 Pen BBS autumn pens. The resin has a great variety of color to it. There's greens, there's reds, there's yellows. And when you just take a small section of these rods that these are machined out of and make a blind cap or a section or a finial, you're only going to get a little bit of the color. But it is an impressive resin, and it's something nice that they chose to put on to the piston filling pen that they make. Yes, I couldn't help myself. I had to take it apart. And it came apart extremely easy. It was easy to pull out the nib and feed from this nib assembly, which screws into the section, which has a nice O-ring in the right spot when you're doing a piston fill or an eyedropper. And a nice small hole there that the assembly and feed fit into. This is a nice acrylic. It's just, you know, I guess I'm used to the autumn from Pen BBS, so that has set the bar for me. This just unscrews. You just keep turning as the piston gets down to the bottom, and then this comes out, and then you can easily remove the piston rod. Nice clear screw there, and this is your standard piston rod. So we talked about how the piston in the Penn BBS 309 sometimes gets stuck. So when you turn this, it turns the piston. In the Penn BBS, the piston kind of floats at the end of this screw. So when you turn this, the piston doesn't turn. And to me, when you turn that piston, it kind of breaks it free. Obviously, we're going to silicone grease all of these bits and pieces. Everything is very well made. There is some type of, I think, this clip, the band here has an inner threaded piece to it, which this cap screws down onto. I'm not in the mood to take it all apart. You know, it's a standard clip. It works very well. You got good clearance, so you could probably put it on something that's a little bit on the thick side. This is a number 6 size nib. So, and it's nice two-tone. I mean, it does fit the quality of the pen. I mean, you know, in that high $20 range, you're expecting something a little bit different. And they also put a date on here, so maybe that's something that's becoming more popular. Standard clear feed and nib assembly. So we're going to grease it up, put some ink in it, compare it to some other piston fillers, and see whether it's a pen you would like. So one of the things that you need to be careful about is this metal ring comes off. So you don't want to lose that if you take the pen apart. It is a little bit secure, but obviously it could get lost. And the nib and feed fit together very nicely. It's not keyed in here, so you can just keep pushing it in until it seats well. Here are 3 Chinese pens that I've decided to show to be examples of this design approach. All of these have clear barrels. 3 are piston fill, and this is the vac fill. All have a color for the blind cap, the activator of the filling system. All of them have a top finial, which has a particular color to it, or the cap that has a particular color to it. So let's open them up and look at the business end. So here are the pens posted, and they all post very well. So that's one thing they all share in common. The exposed nibs are all number 6 nibs, and here we have a hooded nib. So this is a 309 in the green, which I think is a beautiful acrylic. Not seen much anymore, but it was pretty popular when Penn BBS first came out. Here's a 618, which has the black pieces to it. And this was a Bobby special. And then we have a 456 vac fill. One of the things they all have in common is the sections are of the same material as the cap and the finial. Let's take a look at the nib more closely. So the Lingmo Lorelei has a 2-tone nib like the 456 does, but Penn BBS generally puts those on their higher end pens. And a hooded nib. And here's your standard ubiquitous Penn BBS fine nib that's in probably 80% of their pens. These sections on the regular nibs are all pretty much the same, all very comfortable. To me, all pretty good size. And the hooded nib has that classic section design, which I happen to find very comfortable. So a little side note, I've had 2 618s inked up, refilled number of times since I've gotten them over a year ago, and they are my most dependable writing pens of all of my pens. So to me, I always recommend a 618 for somebody who wants a piston fill pen, doesn't want to spend a lot of money, wants a pen that's very dependable, And I find the writing experience enjoyable. Now, it's always a dilemma what ink, but this one called out to me. Haven't really used it in a pen. Haven't talked about Scribe's inks much, but these were excellent inks. I did a full review on them a long time ago. And it's a document ink, and it's plum pie. So let's see what it looks like in the pen. Here's the color card. It is on the pink side. This heavy splotch here has a little bit more red in it, but I think it works well. The chromatography shows how waterproof this ink is. I mean, once it dries, it doesn't move at all. So I put this whole strip in water for about a half an hour. Of course, the ballpoint bled a little bit, but nothing from the ink. As you can see here, it didn't spread very much. The ink really bonds to the paper fairly quickly, and it's a nice looking color. So I've had this pen for a few days. I've written with it on and off on a number of different papers, and overall I'm quite happy with it. I have to admit that it's not exactly a design that like blows me over. I think it's going to be an acquired taste, and that ink certainly does stand out in this demonstrator barrel. A little bit of it got past the first piston ring, but that's why there's two in there. One didn't get past the second one. Pretty full fill. So I just did this once down, once up, once down, once up, and that's what I got. So that's good. The real test is how does it write and feel. So when you pick up the pen, it feels good in your hand. It's nice that they're finally doing quick cap unscrews. It fits fine in the hand unposted, and it does post deeply, securely. I just have to admit that it is a very different looking pen, and a lot of it I think has to do with the fact that the autumn pieces in here are more on the yellow side. There's a little bit of green in that one, but I mean, as a writing instrument, I like it. As a visual entertainment, I'm still learning to enjoy it. It's growing on me, but relatively slowly. It writes very, very well. It's very smooth. It's also a stiff nib. No bounce. No feedback. You know, it is what it is. But it's a consistent writer, which to me is kind of a number one trait that you want in a pen. When you pick it up and write with it, you want to kind of have it write the way you expect it to. So I've been toying about different things to do about just giving a numeric ranking. So we're going to try this one. We're going to have design, engineering, build, writing, and we're going to call it look. So from a design viewpoint, I think it does well. Engineering, it does even better. The build quality is also very good. The writing is good. And the look is something that hasn't yet caught on to me. So if you like the way the pen looks, I mean, it's functional, it works, As you can see on eBay, it's a reasonably good price for what this pen is. It has a nice looking number 6 nib in it, so that can swap out for some other nibs. So thank you for watching. May have many great, wonderful writing experiences. Enjoy using a nib and a pen to put ink on paper, making a permanent mark for others. So we've reached the end of this video. We're going to say bye for now. And you can see it is a little sensitive angle, but writing over the camera tripod is not the easiest thing to do. But it's been a consistent writer for me. So until the next video, there you can see it lays down a nice line. We're going to say bye.